Today we will start the chapter of economics and it is the poverty as a challenge. Why we need to study about this chapter? What's the reason? What it is the outcome of this chapter? Why we have to study poverty as a challenge? Yes, 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 poverty. Yes, yes. Why we have to study? Because in our country, the poverty, even after the independence, our country free from the Britishers, but still we are facing the poverty. And this poverty, it's the problem for the development. And we have to discuss about, especially that in our country, as we are facing the poverty, and obviously we are comparing from the world, then how it can be seen that our poverty line it is high or low. Our poverty line it is in not very high, not very low compared with the world, but still the causes of poverty, which causes of poverty we are facing and why it is, and how the government can develop the people conditions, economic condition, which can be reduce the poverty. So this is the time we have to study about that the people condition to be improved and which important factors for their the improvement and why they are still in the poor conditions. So this is about the poverty, their outcome of the poverty as a challenge. And always we are seeing that in our life, the people in our surrounding, they belong from the poor conditions and we think about how we can develop that people condition. Less number of people they think. Why? Because every people they think about their own economic development. And what is the main reason the people they are poor? Because they are landless. If a people have land, their own land, then the people can use the land for their economic development. They are the landless laborers. And you have seen also in this present time, the people they migrated from the different part of the uh, states. They migrated in the industrial belt, and when the lockdown start, that migrated people they return back to their village. When they return back to the village, they think about that we have to start their work in their own areas. But there the difficulties, because again they are the landless. Maximum they are the landless and minimum they have the own land. And the people those they are living migrated from the village in the city area. They are living in the city area, and that place it is called the jhuggies in the cities. And how they get the work, economic activities, the daily wages. It's not so permanent. They are the daily wage worker. And where you are seeing these daily wage workers, especially in the construction side. Yes, in the construction side. Even you have seen in your locality or in the school campus also, the people they are working. And where again you have seen these such type of the poor people, or not poor, the landless people, where they are working in the city area, where they are working, dhabas, it means they're the roadside or in the places where they can work and earn the money. And if they have not, then they may as a beggar. And these people, they're the poor people. And these poor people we are seeing around us. And these poor peoples, it is the important challenges for the country's development. And still the poor people, the country cannot be developed. And here you may see that every fourth person in India is poor. Every fourth person. What it means that the 270 millions, they are the 27. What it means that these all means that India has the largest single concentration of the poor in the world, not in our. We have to compare with the world. And it is the which type of the condition seriousness in the challenges for the development. And what are the typical cases of the poverty in the urban areas? Yes, yes, of course, how poverty is related to the development. If the poor people, first, why they are poor? Because the poor people, they are the landless. And the poor people, if they get the job, daily wages work, they earn the money, they can't fulfill their basic need. And if they are unable to fulfill their basic need, then the per capita income, obviously it is less, and the overall development of the society is not possible. Then their children may be involved in the crime activities, maybe other type of the things, and they will never possible to join in the national activities. Why? Because still they are facing the which type of the conditions? Poorness, poor activities. If they will not involve, obviously it is the reason for the development cannot be possible. Robbery or the crime, it is more. Why? Because they are unemployed. If they have the employment, and how they have the employment, when they will skilled, maybe the from the education, academic, or maybe another areas of the skilled. And if they are capable to earn the money, then why they will involve for the theft or the robbery? Obviously, yes, robbery or the crime. Why it is? Because they are unable. Even in Jammu and Kashmir, why the more concentration? This is the present condition. Why the people have the more concentration for the employment? Because unemployed people, unemployed youth will be involved in the terrorist sector, in the terrorism. And it is the reason for what? Underdevelopment, not for the development. Here it is about some case study about what? There the Ram Sharan works as a daily wages labor in a wheat flour mill, and You may also compare with Darbhanga, the Mithila flour mill, but here it is mentioned about in the place. It is urban center, Ranchi, and he managed to earn this 1500 month. But what happened? It is not sufficient, and money is not enough for what? For the sustain his family, and the family members also the more. Why? Because the four childrens, and if their children will not educated, how they can develop their conditions? It is the story about him, as he has to send money home to his old parent who lived in a village near the Ramgarh. Ramgarh, it is a place in where? In Jharkhand, and just near to the Ranchi. His father a landless labor, and if again it is the reason for the poverty, landlessness. What's the reason, main reason for the poverty in our country? Because of the landlessness. Yes, and here it is Ram Sharan and his brother who lives in the Hazaribagh for the sustenance. Ram Sharan lives in a one room retained house in a crowded basti in the outskirts of the city. And if the crowded areas, again it is reason for the different type of the disease. The place may be become more dirty, and if the dirty places not clean areas, obviously crowded place may be converted into the uh, polluted area, and it is the reason for the lot of type disease. Obviously, his wife Santa Devi works as wherever the family members, what happened? They may face the disease. But as for sustain, what his wife is doing, works in a part time. Which type of the part time? That the maid servants, and manage the rupees 800. But the meal of dal and rice twice a day, is it sufficient? No, it is not sufficient. But enough for all them? It is not enough for them. Why? Because there are more number of family members. His elder son worked as a helper in a tea shop. Obviously, the childrens, they want to work because for fulfill their basic needs, and if the children will also involve in their different type of the activities, how they get educated, and if they are not educated, then they none of the children go to school. None of the children go to school, and only the two parts of the hand me down the clothes. So it is the reason first that they are landless, then after they have to work daily wages work, and there one another important thing, the number of family members is more. It means population. Population is also the major reason, but if the population is more, you may convert in a people as a resource. Then it can be possible. You have also studied about the people as a resource, how we can use it. And we have also the idea about the Japan. The population is high, but they are using, yes, if, yes, if they are educated. Yes, people can become asset when they are capable to earn the money. Then their children may become educated. And then when they are educated, obviously, then they can earn more per capita income. And then what happened? Then the development of the individuals is possible. So here it is the point. For what? For the cases of poverty, and these cases are what? First one is landlessness. Then if they are the landless, they are unable to do their work on their own land because they haven't. Then they are unemployed, and if they are unemployed, they are unable to fulfill the basic things. Then another one, which things you have understand, the population size of the families. So no one they are attending the school. It means that it increases the illiteracy, and all these family members at a time, they are responsible for the poor health because they are unable to fulfill their the basic food item, not basic need, basic food item. So obviously health is poor. And then these family members, their children will involve for the daily wage work as a child labor. And then the last one is helplessness. Helplessness is related to every category, not only the poor people, sometimes related to the women category also. So write the question. All you have to write the question: what are the main factors for the poverty, or what are the main issues for poverty in India? What are the main issues poverty in India? Now, here you have to know about the story. And this story, it is about whom? About whom? About who? Lakha Singh, the small village, and where in the Uttar Pradesh family does not own land. This condition obviously own land, so they do the odd job for the being farmers, and they eradicate, and they have the less income. At a time they get the paid rupees 50 for hard day's work. Full day they are working and they get the less money. Isn't the kind for the kilograms of wheat or the dal or even for the vegetables? It means they are unable to fulfill their the basic food items, and family of 8 cannot manage their the meals a day. Why? Because the family members are more. And Lakha lives in the where? In a kacha house or the hut, and where outstreak of the village. Why? Because he hasn't the own land. And women of the family spend the day for what? For chopping the fodder. And in your surrounding also you have seen that the people they are coming for the chopping fodder, collecting the firewoods. I think all you have seen, in especially in these days. And his father a TB patient. Why? Because unable to fulfill the basic needs even for the health. So passed away 2 years ago due to the lack of what? Lack of medications. Yes. And mother now suffers from the same disease and life is slowly ebbing away. All it is about the conditions, the two stories about the two persons, that those they have not their the own land, then they are suffering from this such type of the problem. And it is the reason for the poverty. So your question have to write from your side. Okay, in your locality, not related to the stories. These two stories different. So you have to write one story related to your surrounding about the reason for the poverty. Is it possible? Is it possible? Yes. So this is your homework also, that how you have to write about the person's the poverty conditions. And another one thing, how it can be possible to develop their condition, not only to write about their family members or the problems. So what it is there, here you are seeing the conditions there, the two typical cases there, the about the poverty, and they shows that the poverty means hunger and lack of what? Shelters. The hunger and lack of shelters. So it also is a situation in which the parents are not able to send their children to schools. So I think you are easily understand why this is the poverty is the reason for the underdevelopment. The why? Because they are not sending their children to the school. And poverty also means lack of clean water or sanitation facilities. It also means that lack of the regular job. And it also means that the level is low, the status of a people is low. So all it means living with a sense of helplessness because they are unable to develop themselves. And poor people are in a situation in which they are ill treated as almost every place, as where the farms, factories, government offices, hospitals, all these areas you are seeing. The time is going on and the topic I have discussed. So you have to write about the poverty.